So throughout the day, you're going to be hearing a lot about what value stream management is. But we thought it would be fun to kick off the day with a discussion of what value stream management isn't. Last August, Andrew Fuqua of ConnectALL wrote an article in SDTimes with that very title, What Value Stream Management Isn't. And we're thrilled to have him with us today. But that's not all, because joining us are Lance Knight, President and COO of ConnectALL, and Chris Nowak, Director of DevOps Advisory and Adoption at HCL UrbanCode. So welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
Thank you.
Have you with us. Let's start with the definition of what value stream management is. Chris Kondo from Forrester Research, who actually has a session directly following this one, at last year's event, defined it as the following, and it's a mouthful. It's a combination of people, process, and technology that maps, optimizes, visualizes, measures, and governs business value flow. And value stream made the point that value stream management tools are the technology enabling the practice of value stream management. So now that we've defined what it is, I'm going to throw it over to Andrew, and let's start with a conversation of what value stream management isn't.
Well, it isn't something new. Value streams have been around as long as companies or individuals or teams or groups have produced anything of value for anyone. And we have been managing those value streams forever. So value stream management isn't a defined specific process like Scrum. It's not a specific thing that you can adopt with purpose as in the way that you could a DevOps culture. It's stuff that's been around for a long time. The way you manage a value stream is any way you want. And so I think that we've kind of done a bit of a disservice. People that I find when I talk to people at conferences or I hear their questions, they're asking things like, how do I evaluate whether we should do value stream? As if they don't realize that they already have them. Or how do we decide whether we need to do value stream management? And how do I pick the right approach? How do I pick the right approach is a good question, but to ask, should we even do value stream management is kind of is missing the point. So when we've put it out there as capital VSM, value stream management, as if it was a proper noun like Scrum or Kanban or DevOps or many other things. People think that it's some new thing that they need to go learn, whereas it's already there's already plenty of techniques out there. Choose your technique and go for it.
Excellent. All right. So I know one of the things that you differentiate in your article, not to rely on that too heavily, of course, but just where you said that managing value streams is not the same as a value stream. So what did you kind of mean by that?
Well, the value stream is the business or the organization or the flow of work, and managing it is where some human comes along and decides what should flow. Is it flowing well? Evaluate whether there's some improvement that need to be had. So it's like you have, I hate the term human resources, but you have humans in your organization and they're doing stuff, and you can kind of manage them for good effect. So managing a value stream, managing that value that's going through and making improvements to it is value stream management. So I almost hate saying value stream management because it instantly ends up with, as a proper noun in uppercase, I prefer to flip it around and just say, well, we're managing a value stream. You should manage your value stream. You should pay attention to what you're doing.
Interesting. I never thought of it in that way, where you see it uppercase in a lot of places, and then of course it seems like it's going to be something very prescriptive.
That's right. People think it's well defined. It's like SAFe, Scaled Agile Framework, which is a very specific thing. But value stream management is everything in every one of the books behind me, except for the programming stuff and the operating system stuff and the religious stuff. It's, pick your book, and there's tens of thousands of them. It can be project management, it can be agile, it can be lean, you could use Kanban and Scrum and Save for Less or DAD or whatever, whatever, or you could mismanagement if you so choose. So that's kind of the thing that I wanted to get away from, so people understood that they don't need to rush out and learn something new, that you're already managing your value stream. Just do it well.
Dave, I'm feeling willfully not able to have this conversation because I don't have any books behind me like Chris. I always open with a joke, don't I?
They make backgrounds for that.
Oh, good. Yes, good idea.
Exactly. So, Lance, I know you always talk about the human side of things, and I know Andrew alluded to that in his last comment. So how important is keeping your focus in that area?
I think it's very important. As a matter of fact, Andrew and I were at a restaurant. We were brainstorming about thought leadership, and he bellowed out value stream management is human. And of course, I took it and put it on my moniker, and I came up with it, not him. But the point is true, right? You have a value stream today. I mean, it's in your organization. You have multiple value streams. Now, the only question is, are they managed or not? Or are they organic? And really, it's not going to be a piece of software, and I've said that time and again, that is going to manage your value stream. It can automate your value stream. It can help you do things with it, but a human needs to do the management piece, right? So I think you have to understand that when you're doing value stream management. And I think the challenge today is for people to get educated about the different types of techniques and principles we can use to do that, right? Whether that's lean or systems thinking, or how to look at flow and value through your organization and try to improve it appropriately. And the humans have to do that. No computer's going to read your value stream and tell you what to get rid of, because there's too many human processes in that. Now, Chris, I think you had a point of view earlier about you need to map your value stream in order to manage it.
Yeah. So, you can say, well, there's value stream or value stream management, value stream mapping. But at the end of the day, it goes back to, what Andrew said. There's a value stream there anyway, or something you'd look at it, right? Whether you recognize it's there or not, you need to think about that, right? It's there already. And so, a value stream map, there are a lot of ways to look at it or to expose it, but value stream mapping is a way to do it, right? You start to look at it, measure it, at least put it on paper so you can start to talk about, well, this is what we're seeing today. Is it really what we want to happen, right? So be intentional about it. Mapping is one way to do it. It's the old piece of paper, but at the end of the day, if you end up using a tool, you're going to take that idea and you're going to put it in a process in the tool. And it's like everything else in DevOps, right? If you automate a bad process, bad stuff just happens faster. So, just be intentional about it, and then, make sure you're directing it where you want to go.
I wish I did a speaking slot earlier today about bad stuff happening in the value stream. I think mine was on that point of view. So yeah, the value trumps flow says something right. Like that. Yeah. So what was so, disruptive about Andrew's article? I'm trying to get to that because I think most of us agree to it, but there were some disruptive point of views.
Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with, putting the focus on, or taking the focus away from flow specifically and making it more about the broader topic of value stream management, of being able to look at it in a certain way that isn't defined as these other things like Agile or DevOps or something else. And I think there were some people who think that, no, that's a critical part of all of it. So that might have been part of what the disruption was, at least from where I was sitting. I don't know, did you see something different, anybody?
Well, I read the article. I can understand why some folks might think that, but to me, I look at it maybe just a little bit differently. It's another evolution of the way we're thinking about business value. And so you could fall on either side of that and say, well, it's always been part of DevOps. And, I've always said that Agile's kind of part of DevOps. It's the next iteration. Or you can say, you know what, we really need to make sure we think about it. And then if you take that side of it, you can say, well, it is kind of new. But, at the end of the day, you need to think about it, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe the only other thing, around it, I would say is, very specifically, right, we capitalize things probably because we want to sell it, right? So, but at the end of the day, everybody talks about value stream in the singular. And so this is something I was actually, as I thought about it, I'm like, in any organization, there's not a single value stream. Well, there is in one place at the bottom of the balance sheet, right? When you talk about risk, revenue, cost to the CFO and the CEO. But what makes it up are all kinds of value streams, micro value streams across the organization. And so you kind of have to think about that too, right? It's in the same way kind of how we do, DevOps or anything else. You have all of these disciplines or areas, and you have to all make them work together. So, value stream, small value stream is actually a plural, in my opinion.
I agree with that. Whenever we look at like a governance model I talk about every once in a while, that's pretty flat, but it can be diversified, right? The idea, the intake of an initiative comes in, and that can go across multiple value streams, get delivered, multiple material streams of delivering the artifacts into production, multiple portfolio streams. It can get kind of complicated. And until you map it out and look at the flow across all those different things, it's kind of interesting. That's why sometimes rather than doing a value stream map, you can do like a SIPOC to try to lay all that out. But there's a lot to do to figure out that. But I think, Andrew, one of the points you made in your article was, to give up on the term and maybe we should call it something else in value stream. Also, the other point I had was thinking through the Scaled Agile framework, which talks about value streams in it. And according to the people in that Scaled Agile organization that I've talked to, it still incorporates Andrew's idea. It's not like it's separating from it, right? It's still part of the whole picture, from what I understand.
Well, one thing that I'm kind of curious to know about, it's been now a couple of years since we've been talking about value stream management in terms of software development delivery. Are we learning more at this point, or is it still too early to say what the benefits and advantages of value stream are, or what value stream is or is not as people are adopting it and sort of making it their own thing? Or is it still too early to be getting any of that learning feedback yet?
I think you may have just made my point of the article, is that it's not a new thing. Now we've been talking about it, and it's been in marketing lately. But all the tech, there's nothing new under the sun. There's no new technique. So, but that doesn't mean people know them. That doesn't mean people know how to manage their value stream well. But we're giving some examples of some specific processes that you could use. But we've only, we named the ones that are on the tip of our tongue, like SAFe and Scrum and DevOps, but there's so much more to managing an organization and the people in it. That's why I mentioned that, there's thousands of books that, if you just did SAFe and Scrum, you'd fail. There's product management that's part of your value stream. There's all kinds of stuff written about quality and managing the quality process and quality organizations and quality metrics. So it's like this name is a big umbrella term, and maybe it's a great shortcut term to describe all of that stuff. But then it just, I think the way that it's talked about leaves people kind of scratching their head and say, you start with Chris Kondo's definition, and it's big and it's a great definition, but it's necessarily broad because the topic is broad. Right. That comes back to my point of wanting to turn it around and say, look, people, it's just manage your value stream. You use PMI if you want, however you want to manage your value stream. Go learn these things and learn to and understand flow, understand how to get value, understand waste elimination, put lean techniques in place. But don't think, ooh, value stream management is some new kind of thing I got to go learn.
That's, I feel it's sort of the same thing back in early DevOps days. If you describe, well, this is what we're going to, 2011, right? 2010 is when DevOps was a word. This is what DevOps means. You'll get some old sysadmin guy looking at you funny saying, that's how we've always done good software delivery, right? We do the same things. There's a new name for it, but they're kind of those concepts that we always have to keep remembering and learning and improving upon. So, I think one of the most important things to keep in mind is we talk about, and Chris Kondo said it, right? The key word in that definition was the business value. It's about the business. We have to remember, though, it isn't about us internally. Like, the only real definition of value is if the customer actually likes what you gave them. And so we do have to improve internally with the value stream process and all those things we're talking about. But remember that the ultimate measure, the business value measure, is whether that customer's smiling after you hand them whatever you're going to hand them. And we kind of forget, right? We get turned internal.
Excellent.
I have an opinion on the whole space, to the question, and that is to understanding the business of the value of value stream management. I think it's already out there and we can put it together. Mm-hmm. But I think the industry itself, in this new terminology around it, is morphing and changing every day. There are new players in the space just for value stream management tools. Seems like just about every hour, somebody wants to jump on the VSM bandwagon, right? Mm-hmm. I've been an early adopter of it. I've been working with it for a long time. I don't think it's defined well enough because of the length of the definition of what it is. So anybody that does something, even if they're just an agile tool, could say that they're a VSM tool, right? So I think we're going to see it go out and explode and then come back together to be something over time. So I think we're just seeing a lot of players enter into the VSM space, but everyone isn't talking about how to help people do value stream management. They're mostly talking about how to buy their solution to do value stream management. And the two companies represented here, we both make great solutions for that. But if we're not training and helping people to understand how to use these principles at the same time, that's, I think I said something about a shiny Tesla without a driver's license once before. So the bigger point is it just hasn't blossomed totally yet. It's going to. I really think it is. At least I'm putting a big bet on it. But I don't think it's totally gone through its whole kind of growth thing. I hate to use the car industry terminology because everybody always uses that there were hundreds of automakers in the beginning of the century and now there's 3.
Maybe I disagree with you on that point, Lance. You think that we're going to have a blossoming of the managing of value streams? I don't know. And you said you've been doing it for a long time. Well, everybody has. It's kind of coming back to my point, is that it's everybody's been managing their value streams whether they know it or not, and it's been long enough. The lean techniques have been out there, the PMI's been out there, ad hoc has been out there, rapid development's been out there, spiral. All of these approaches, managing people, product management techniques are out there, and if you hadn't learned them yet, I don't think putting the value stream management moniker on it and saying that we have a platform to sell you is going to help anybody pick up new good product management techniques. Are the approaches. Now the platforms are great. Tooling is great. There's a lot of things that can be automated. You can get metrics, and you can automate bits and pieces of governance, and you can see your value stream, and you can see the workflow perhaps, and you can connect things. But
I think you caught me in something else, Andrew. Your point is exactly valid. But what you caught me in is the exact point that you also make in the article. That's the messing up of the term. Right? Mm-hmm. I meant to
Well,
say
I gotta jump in right here. Fellas. Sorry. We're just about out of time. So let me thank Andrew Fuqua and Lance Knight of ConnectALL, Chris Nowak at HCL. We've done this a bunch of times before, and there's the timer. So thank you so much for being here, folks. Enjoy the rest of your day. And the next session is coming right up. Take care.
Thank
All
you.
right, take care. Thank you.